What's up, Dosers? My name is Jed. I'm the youth pastor at Palma Valley campus, and I'm so excited to get to be here with you today. Have you ever had one of those friends in your life that's just so excited and passionate about something new? Maybe it's a new hobby or a new job, or maybe it's a new food that they just tried and they want to share it with you. And their excitement just bubbles over and they want to share everything about it with you. For me, it was one of my friends who I grew up with and had lost touch with over the years. And he reached out to me a few years ago. And he said, "Hey, let's meet up, connect, talk about our lives and what's going on." I said, "Sure." And so when we get there to this meeting with each other at a Starbucks, he starts sharing with me about this new plan that he's on, a plan to become financially free, to make passive income and never have to work again. And I remember his excitement over this was just so enthusiastic. He wanted to share it with me so bad. And ultimately, after another meeting, I learned what the opportunity was. And it wasn't the housing market like I thought or the stock market. It was actually Amway. And if you don't know what Amway is a multi-level marketing organization that essentially you bring people under you and you all buy a product and service. And as you bring more people on, a percentage of that goes towards you and the person who brought you in and the person who brought them in. And it just trickles down, so on and so on, ultimately making passive income. And so he was super excited to share this with me, and that's what stuck with me for so many years, was this passion that he had towards something new. And it reminded me of a guy in the New Testament. His name's Philip. He's an early church apostle. And Philip was just stoked to get to share the good news about Jesus. Jesus had died and rose again for the sins of the world. And he's going around at the point in the early church, he's been sent out, and he's journeying place to place, and he's telling all people about Jesus. And there's this one moment in Scripture where he actually sees this guy. He's walking down this road, and there's a carriage. And he starts walking alongside of the carriage, and he hears the man reading from a scroll. And on the scroll, he's reading from the prophet Isaiah. And as he's reading it, he's opening it up, and he reads it, and he says, "Hey, can you explain this to me? Is this talking about this prophet or somebody in the future, somebody yet to come?" And Philip, I can only imagine, has a small smile on his face as he gets to do something great. And he responds in Acts chapter 8, verse 35 by doing this. It says, "Then Philip opened his mouth, and beginning with the scripture, he told him the good news about Jesus." What's funny is we don't often have times in our life where people are reading the Bible in front of us and they say, "Hey, can you explain this to me?" Or maybe we have a coworker or a friend who's a non-Christian and they're just reading the Bible like it's a great book and they ask us to explain it. That doesn't happen very often. So for us, it's really important that we have that same passion and excitement of sharing the good news that Philip did and my friend did. We should be so excited to share this gift, this good news that Jesus came for them. Because it's more than just money, power, or fame. It's something so far beyond. It's not a temporary set in this world, it's eternal. It's inheritance. It's a new identity. And our excitement should be bubbling over to tell it with everybody. But going back to that idea of they're not reading the Bible and asking us to explain it to them, how do we get that conversation started? There's this quote that I heard many, many years ago, and it stuck with me since I was a young kid. It's this. It's we as Christians are the only Bible that a non-believer will ever read. And I'm not sure who said it, so I'm sorry. But it stuck with me for so many years because when I think about it, if somebody read the Bible and looked at how I live my life, would it match up? Would I be a good representation of what this says? Because ultimately, the way I live my life as a Christian should be in stark contrast to the way the world looks. My attitudes, my motives, my desires should be very different than what the world chooses and how the world lives their life. And if that's the case, it should bring people to ask the question, why? How are you having so much peace right now when your kids never listen, when they're yelling and screaming at you, a season I know all too well right now? When they look at that and they say, how? Why? I get to do the same thing Philip did and smile, open my mouth, and tell them the good news about Jesus, that he's brought more than just the temporary. He's brought eternal peace, joy, contentment. Dosers, I hope that this brings you encouragement, that you find joy today, and that you're excited and passionate to share the good news of Jesus with everyone in your life. Thanks, Dosers. Have a great day.